just like Diddy, Epstein didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing. There you have it, you guys. That is transparency. That's transparency. I mean, I don't know what more you want from your government. Do you feel like they're laughing at us? I feel like they're laughing at us. We are definitely in clown world. I'm not a huge Elon Musk fan because I think he plays a role in the coming AI system of controlling global affairs. But he did nail it with this clown meme tweet. I will say that. We will release the Epstein list. We just need more time. The Epstein list is on my desk. There is no Epstein list. Interestingly enough, though, I was contacted by a certain someone. For those of you who enjoyed my Brigitte series, Xavier Poussard has been working quite diligently over the last couple of years, not just on the story of Brigitte Macron and this weird ring that happens in France, but also that investigation brought him to Jeffrey Epstein. Because Jeffrey Epstein, as Ghislaine Maxwell, she was French as well, Mossad, and the investigation of Brigitte brought him to Jeffrey Epstein, and he said to me, Candace, would you want to do a series on Epstein? He asked me this about 2 months ago. And what I heard was, would you like to die? Would you like to die? Because that's kind of where, do you want to play a game sort of a thing? And maybe where our government, with all of their resources, is failing, I don't know, maybe it will be up to us. So what can I say, guys? Stay tuned.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out. But there's a general frustration with accountability. We take it halfway, we don't take it home. And I really believe that now with Cash and Pam, there will be accountability.
Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out my little Men in Black tool, and just wipe your memory real quick. Phew. Phew. She didn't say any of that. Phew.
Sorry.
The FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network, on Fox News.
I've got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that.
The cameras turn on, and before the audience even hears the first full sentence, something already feels different. Candace Owens is staring directly into the lens with a look that says she's been thinking about this story for hours. No smile, no dramatic intro music, just silence for a second. And then she says, Hollywood is panicking again. That one sentence immediately changes the energy in the room, because every time the Jeffrey Epstein files start trending online again, the internet explodes with the same question. Who knew what? Who was connected? And why do so many powerful names keep resurfacing? This time, one of the biggest names in entertainment is back in the conversation once again, Leonardo DiCaprio.
He went out there and claimed there were tens of thousands of hours of tape. There are, by the way, but they are child pornography. The reason the FBI is not releasing them is because those tapes do not include underage people with third parties on Epstein Island. That is not what the tapes are. I also have sources in the federal government who are covering this stuff and have seen the documents. Hey, those tapes are just child porn. That's all. That's what they are. That's why the FBI is not releasing them. Okay, as far as the Epstein list, what I have been told by my sources is that there is no Epstein list, that basically there's a black book of Jeffrey Epstein contacts. And the vast majority of those contacts are already out there publicly. That's why you know names like Prince Andrew or Alan Dershowitz or some of the names that have been mentioned here. Those contacts, there is no evidence, according to the DOJ and the FBI, and again, that's public, there's no evidence that any of those third parties were having girls trafficked to them. And that is not evidence that was made clear, certainly, to the DOJ or the FBI. Here is Tucker then asserting that it was actually Mossad. Again, without evidence, not a shock. Of course, this is where Tucker was going. This has become the hot speculation on the internet, is without evidence. You say that Mossad was running Jeffrey Epstein. When I say without evidence, I mean without evidence. Naftali Bennett, the former Israeli prime minister, said, quote, as a former Israeli prime minister, with the Mossad having reported directly to me I say to you with 100% certainty, the accusation that Jeffrey Epstein somehow worked for Israel or the Mossad running a blackmail ring is categorically and totally false. This accusation is a lie being peddled by prominent online personalities such as Tucker Carlson, pretending they know things they don't. And in fact, I followed up with the former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, and what he told me is that Mossad has not been active in the United States against the United States since the Jonathan Pollard scandal of 1987, when a U.S. Army contractor who's actually working for the Navy revealed classified information to the Israeli government. He was prosecuted by the United States government and ended up in prison.
I didn't watch this whole clip. This is
years.
Hilarious.
And so Israel since then has not spied on the United States with Mossad.
Okay, guys. Well, there you have it. It's just, I don't know how he does it with a straight face. I just like, well, anyway, guys, there's millions of females, but don't even it's like, Mossad hasn't been doing nothing. I know it seems weird because BB's like always here or whatever, and we seem to be doing their bidding everywhere. But the Mossad just said in the night days, they were like, I'm a chill. And they haven't done a single thing here at all. I know it might look that way. Miriam Adel said, she doesn't even know their name. She doesn't know who they are, actually. She's doing her thing, and she's giving Trump $200 million, but it ain't got nothing to do with the Mossad. So I just wanted to bring you that stunning report from Ben Shapiro. Thank you for clarifying, Benjamin.
What? 21 cars? What? They could have gave me a car.
The emails drop, and Jeffrey Epstein, who worked on behalf of the Rothschilds, according to him, wrote that in an email, the Rothschilds, who credit themselves with having created which nation state? Oh, right, Israel, the same nation state that is having a bunch of women say that they were ritualistically abused in a forest by rabbis. That's happening in the Knesset right now, that nation state, saying that they were 3-4 years old when this happened. He's saying, those are my bosses, the Rothschilds. And here is a brief, but by no means an extensive coverage video that was put together by, I assume this guy must be Goy, right? Goy? Goy, TikToker, Contrarian put this together. Take a listen.
Israel is mentioned twice as much as Donald Trump in the new documents. Here he is discussing with Roger Schank, a Jewish American academic and hedge fund worker, saying Jews create vast fortunes by manipulating markets and creating financial speculation and exploiting labor. He says, let the Goyim deal in the real world. In a discussion with the Rothschild family, Epstein says if they overthrew the Ukrainian government, there would be great opportunities. The Rothschild family paid Epstein $25 million for certain algorithms. While talking to Peggy Seigel, August 7th of 2010, she asks if an event is going to be 100% Jewish. He says, no, they'll have Goyim in abundance. But don't worry, they're just brilliant wasps from JP Morgan. Joshua Finkelstein, BlackRock's Larry Finkelstein's son, is accused of not having any respect for non-Jews, seeing them as not human. This is from his ex-girlfriend, Svetlana. He pressures her to have an abortion. In 2017, Epstein has a conversation talking about if you want to hire the best people, you have to hire only Jews. Only hire those who can prove they are genetically Jewish. Maria Farmer, one of the first victims to come out and name Epstein,
I wasn't allowed to go get food. And when I called Ghislaine and asked why I couldn't eat there, she said, it's a Jewish country club. You're not Jewish. They're not going to serve you. They, honest to God, think their DNA is better than everybody else.
Said that their operation was motivated by Jewish supremacy.
Anybody gonna say that that's not real anymore?
Candace makes something very clear almost immediately. Leonardo DiCaprio has not been charged with crimes connected to Epstein. There is no verified proof showing criminal wrongdoing by him in relation to Epstein's activities. She repeats that carefully because she knows how dangerous online speculation can become. But then her tone shifts. She says the real story is bigger than one celebrity, bigger than one actor, bigger than even Hollywood itself. According to Candace, the reason people are reacting so emotionally is because the public no longer trusts elite circles the way they used to. And once trust disappears, every photo, every party, every old connection suddenly looks different. What nobody expected was how quickly this conversation would explode across social media again. Clips started circulating, old photographs resurfaced, comment sections filled with theories, and suddenly Hollywood's most glamorous world started looking less glamorous and a lot more uncomfortable. For years, Leonardo DiCaprio represented the untouchable image of Hollywood success: award-winning actor, environmental activist, global celebrity. He wasn't just famous, he was respected. People saw him as intelligent, polished, careful, the kind of celebrity who stayed away from chaos. That image took decades to build. Long before the Oscar wins and worldwide recognition, Leonardo was just a young actor trying to survive in one of the hardest industries in the world. He started working as a kid, appearing in commercials and small television roles before finally breaking through in the early 90s. Even back then, people around him described him as intense, focused, and obsessed with proving himself. Then came the roles that changed everything. Movies like Titanic turned him into one of the most recognizable faces on Earth almost overnight. Suddenly, he wasn't just an actor anymore. He became a cultural icon. Fans screamed when they saw him. Paparazzi followed him everywhere. Every relationship, every vacation, every friendship became headline news. But fame at that level creates a strange kind of isolation. Candace talks about this during her segment. She says people outside Hollywood often imagine celebrity life as endless luxury and freedom, private jets, mansions, red carpets. But what they don't see is how those worlds become tightly connected bubbles where the same wealthy and influential people constantly interact. And according to her, that's where the public discomfort really begins. Because Epstein didn't operate as some mysterious outsider hiding in darkness. He was photographed with politicians, billionaires, academics, royalty, and celebrities for years. He moved through elite environments openly. That fact alone changed how people view powerful social circles forever. Candace leans forward during the discussion and says something that instantly starts trending online. The public isn't just questioning individuals anymore, they're questioning the entire system. That line hits hard because it captures exactly why emotions around this story never seem to disappear. The internet remembers everything now. Old party footage gets reposted in seconds. Archived interviews suddenly go viral years later. Photos people ignored a decade ago become major headlines overnight. And when a celebrity as massive as Leonardo DiCaprio gets mentioned in conversations connected to Epstein, the reaction becomes impossible to control. But here's the twist. Candace doesn't spend the segment accusing Leonardo of crimes. Instead, she focuses on Hollywood's silence. According to her, that silence tells its own story. She points out how carefully celebrities respond whenever Epstein-related news resurfaces. Publicists become more aggressive, interviews become shorter, reporters avoid uncomfortable questions, entire industries suddenly start acting nervous, and viewers notice it immediately. Candace argues that if Hollywood truly wants public trust back, silence is the worst possible strategy, because when famous people say nothing, online speculation grows even louder. Meanwhile, social media begins doing what it always does, digging through the past. Old event photos, charity galas, exclusive parties, private dinners, every image becomes part of a giant internet investigation. Some people search for truth, others chase conspiracy theories, and somewhere in the middle, facts start mixing with emotion. Candace warns viewers about that danger too. She repeatedly says suspicion is not proof. Being photographed near someone does not automatically mean involvement in crimes. That distinction matters. Due process matters. Evidence matters. But she also says the cultural damage is already done. According to Candace, the Epstein scandal permanently destroyed the illusion that elite circles are automatically trustworthy. Before Epstein's downfall became public, people viewed celebrity networking as glamorous. Invitations to private islands, luxury parties, elite gatherings, all of it was treated like success. Now, those same images feel different. What used to look exclusive now looks secretive. And that psychological shift changed Hollywood forever. Candace says audiences are no longer impressed by fame alone. They want accountability. They want transparency. They want answers about how powerful people move through these elite networks without anyone asking questions. As the segment continues, Leonardo DiCaprio becomes almost symbolic of something larger. Not because he's been proven guilty of wrongdoing, Candace carefully avoids saying that, but because his name represents the kind of massive celebrity status people once believed existed above scrutiny, and that era is ending. The internet no longer treats celebrities like untouchable royalty. Fans investigate now. They analyze interviews. They study timelines. They compare old stories with new headlines. Social media flattened the distance between ordinary people and elite figures. Candace says that's why Hollywood seems so uncomfortable right now. For decades, image control was everything. Publicists could bury stories. Studios could redirect media attention. Magazines helped shape celebrity narratives. But in the digital era, the audience controls part of the conversation too. And once millions of people start asking questions at the same time, controlling that conversation becomes almost impossible. What nobody expected was how emotional this topic would become, because beneath the headlines and viral clips is something much deeper: disappointment. People grew up admiring celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio. They watched his movies for decades. They trusted the image Hollywood sold them. So when these elite social circles suddenly become connected to darker conversations, fans feel conflicted. Part of them wants to defend their favorite celebrities. Another part wonders if the entertainment industry hid uncomfortable truths for years. That internal conflict is exactly what Candace taps into during the segment. She says the anger people feel isn't only about Epstein anymore. It's about power itself. It's about the belief that wealthy and influential people often live by different rules than ordinary people. And once people start believing that, every elite institution begins losing credibility. Hollywood, politics, media, finance. Everything becomes connected in the public imagination. Candace even talks about how the media handles celebrity scandals differently depending on who is involved. She argues that smaller public figures often get destroyed instantly, while major A-list celebrities receive softer coverage and more cautious headlines. That perceived inconsistency fuels even more suspicion online. Again, she reminds viewers that fairness matters. False accusations destroy lives. Evidence must come before judgment. But she insists transparency matters too. And according to her, Hollywood still struggles with transparency. As the conversation spreads online, reactions become increasingly emotional. Some fans defend Leonardo passionately. Others say the entertainment industry needs complete exposure from top to bottom. Debate clips go viral across platforms. Reaction channels start posting hourly updates. Comment sections become battle zones. Meanwhile, Leonardo himself remains mostly silent publicly, and that silence becomes part of the story. Candace says silence may protect celebrities legally, but culturally it often creates even more distrust. People expect responses now. They expect clarity, especially during controversies tied to powerful institutions. But perhaps the most powerful moment comes near the end of Candace's discussion. Her voice softens slightly, and instead of sounding angry, she sounds disappointed. She says Hollywood once sold audiences a dream: glamour, success, beauty, prestige. People believed celebrities represented something aspirational, but the Epstein scandal shattered part of that illusion forever. Now audiences look at elite culture differently. Private parties no longer seem mysterious and exciting. They seem guarded. Exclusive networks no longer feel impressive. they feel hidden. The fantasy cracked, and once people saw behind the curtain, they couldn't unsee it. That realization changed public culture permanently. For Leonardo DiCaprio, the emotional impact of being dragged into these conversations, even without criminal charges, is massive. Reputation in Hollywood is everything. One headline can follow someone forever. One viral trend can reshape public perception overnight. And that's the scary reality of the modern internet. People don't wait for full investigations anymore. They react instantly. Emotion spreads faster than facts. Algorithms reward outrage. And once a celebrity's name becomes attached to controversy, separating truth from speculation becomes incredibly difficult. Candace acknowledges that danger directly. She says the goal should never be reckless accusation. The goal should be accountability without abandoning fairness. Questions should be allowed. Evidence should matter. Transparency should exist. But emotional internet mobs should never replace real legal standards. Still, she believes one thing is undeniable. The public has changed forever. People no longer blindly trust powerful figures simply because they're famous. Celebrity status no longer creates automatic protection from scrutiny. Fans now examine the systems surrounding fame itself. And according to Candace, Hollywood still hasn't fully accepted that reality. By the final moments of the segment, the energy becomes almost reflective. Candace stares directly at the camera again and says something that leaves the audience thinking long after the video ends. The Epstein scandal didn't just expose one man, it exposed how influence works. That line hangs in the air, because maybe that's why this story keeps returning again and again, not because people are obsessed with celebrity gossip, but because they're trying to understand how power operates behind closed doors. Who gets protected? Who gets questioned? Who controls the narrative? And what else has the public never been allowed to fully see? Candace ends the discussion with one final reminder. Leonardo DiCaprio has not been convicted of crimes related to Epstein. Evidence and due process matter. That should never be ignored. But she also says scrutiny is now part of the new reality for anyone connected to elite circles. The age of automatic trust is over. And in today's world, fame no longer guarantees protection from public suspicion. As the cameras fade out, one thing becomes painfully clear. Hollywood may never look the same again. And maybe that's the part of this story that hits people the hardest. It's not just about one celebrity, one headline, or one scandal anymore. It's about trust. For years, Hollywood felt untouchable. Fans believed the image they were shown on red carpets, in interviews, and through carefully controlled media appearances. But now, people are starting to question everything behind the scenes. Candace Owens made it clear that evidence and fairness still matter, and no one should be judged without proof. But she also believes the public has officially stopped blindly trusting elite circles. The conversation around Leonardo DiCaprio and the Epstein files shows just how much the culture has changed. People want transparency now. They want accountability, and they're paying closer attention than ever before. Whether this story grows bigger or slowly fades away, one thing is certain: Hollywood will never escape public scrutiny the way it once did. The audience is watching, questioning, and demanding answers. But what do you think? Is this about accountability, or has social media gone too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stories just like this.